Two productivity hacks. Number one, be consistent.
Oh, yes.
Like, your best
Definitely.
today is this much, your best tomorrow is this much. You don't have to be at your 100% every day. You can't.
Welcome to our istoria podcast, Samir.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you very much. Hello, Najah. Hello, Hanan. Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you for coming and making it. We know that your schedule is very busy, but
You made it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're here.
Yep. Istoria is our podcast is about learning through research, mainly on entrepreneurs. And we know, Samir, you are very dynamic and you have done a lot in Korea. So I would just leave the microphone to you to introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Samer.
Yes. Welcome.
Done?
Samir. I know that you are you have studied in Korea, you have worked corporate jobs, you have done a lot. You have came here after high school, right?
Yeah. It's been like 15, 16 years almost.
So you are a school of life in Korea.
Yeah. I mean, a big share of my life was here in Korea. And as you mentioned, I've mostly done a big part of it from A to Y. We still have the Z,
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So let's say Z is like part of entrepreneurship.
Z, you can never achieve it. That's it.
Yeah.
Z is an ongoing thing. Yeah.
Infinity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So today we brought you here to tell us about your entrepreneurship journey, because this is stories and lessons. We don't call failures, we call them lessons.
Yeah. There is no
Definitely.
ultimate failure.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell us about your entrepreneurship story and how you became a mentor and all this stuff.
Whew, that's a Netflix movie right there, but no, that's a documentary.
Okay.
So yeah, basically, as you mentioned, I got here to Korea. I studied. I would have to fast forward a lot in these things, but
Yes.
even while studying abroad, things aren't as normal as they should be when you're an expat in a country. So. You have to hustle, you have to make money, you have to pay rent, you have
And
to
you have to
still
adapt.
attend school, you have to adapt. Adapting actually becomes autopilot because you get busy with
Yeah,
everything else. So adaptation becomes on autopilot mode. It's like once every 3 to 4 years, you're like, hang on a second, what just happened why am I
Yeah.
here? Those kind of things.
Exactly. All the expect they were gonna have the same question.
Exactly. So while at university, as we're trained to study and apply for jobs,
Exactly.
I was applying for jobs before graduating. I landed a certain job in a certain corporate here. I worked there for 1.5 to 2 years, and I realized that wasn't my thing at all. Like, I was not happy. Imagine, I was like, 23 maybe, and I wasn't happy. I was like,
This is not the lifestyle.
this is not digestible for me. Like, I'm not gonna come here every day and sit down and. I mean,
Just
corporate
like
is
from-
amazing. I mean,
just
jobs.
like 9 to 6 job or 9 to 5 job. It depends.
Yeah. It was never 9 to 6. It was like
It's more
24
of a-
hour. But
Yeah.
long story short, it's just like I didn't find myself like, oh yeah, I can do this for a long time. I was like, yeah, it's nice. I learned a couple of things. It was good for discipline, responsibility, making it on time, presenting stuff on time. And all that, but I was like, I think I could do better. I could do better as in I can give better outcome if I had a different environment. So there was the search for what am I good at? What can I do? What can I not do? And I did my MBA after that. I got involved more with startups.
Why startups?
Why not? I mean, it was like, let's create something. Let's make something new. If it works, it works. Back then, that wasn't the mindset. It's like, I have to create something now. It has to work tomorrow, and I have to be rich by next weekend. Basically, that was the
That's
mindset
what
at
all
that point.
every entrepreneur they will think about that.
Yeah,
But
basically.
eventually it's a life journey that nobody knows what you were gonna face, but at the end, if you made it, that's your story.
But you see, here's the point. Part of me getting here, where I am today, is, and that's a mindset. I have a record of like 6 to 7 startups, A lot of them failed. And I made it a habit of myself to join startups, make them work, and leave. So I realized something. Every time you have to kill yourself to make it work. Once it works, I lose interest in it. I'm like, oh, okay, now I need to move on. I need to find something else. Like, there's no challenge.
Just something going.
Yeah, even if it works. If it works, I'm like, okay, this worked, this made money. There's no more challenge. Let me go find something else. This is why I keep getting calls like, join this startup, join that startup, like TFT teams, task forces. Like, go in, set it up, go out. Go in, set it up, go out. And it's fun.
Have you sold any of these businesses, or you just left them?
I just don't leave. You never leave empty-handed. You leave with experience, and you leave with network that will bring you something bigger, because eventually you are real-time proven. Like, that's it. You're proved.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, bring this guy will make it work.
I see.
And when that reputation goes around the market, that's worth way more, because how much are you going to sell a startup for? 10 grand, 20, 100,000, 200,000? That's it. That's your value. That's your price. At least for me, that's what I think. And yeah, it kept going like that. And yeah, after that point, I was like, maybe it's time to, start seeing what's up around me. Like, how can we help people? How can we mentor? How can we share?
You made me come to a question where I would say, what is your favorite productivity hack for the entrepreneur on what you have achieved so far?
Productivity hack, how to be productive.
Yes. Because like
hack.
it's something that everybody as an entrepreneurship they are good at. Everybody has like pros and cons, but if you
I wouldn't say I'm good at it, because there are days where I'm just sitting down and I'm like looking at the sky like, I gotta do stuff. If you can't do it, don't do it. Two productivity hacks. Number one, be consistent.
Oh, yes.
Like, your best today is this much. Your best tomorrow is this much. You don't have to be at your 100% every day. You can't.
Eventually.
Like, don't be intense, because some people, especially when I started entrepreneurship, like, I thought, like, I should do this in this week, and then I'm going to rest later. Or I'm going to do this very well at this month. Of course, you have to create a momentum, but, like, consistency is very important.
Yeah, definitely.
Because what it gives you to achieve you to at the end.
Yeah, because you can't be like, I'll do it next month. No, you don't that's not going to happen. Do it, but don't, stand and kick yourself, be like okay, I haven't done everything today. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay, because there's the startup and there's life going around you, which brings us to the second hack, which is, let's say, I would say questioning. Like, I would sit down and actually question myself. I would hold myself accountable by myself. But let's not mix these two. This is why I told you it's okay if your best today was 20%. Because I can't sit down and be like, okay, I haven't done my 100% today. I suck. I'm not good. I'm blah, 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 blah.
Self-doubt.
Yeah. No. You need to understand what's your limit per day, because you have other things going in life. But sit down every day and actually ask yourself, was that the right choice to make? Did I say no when I had to say no? Did I say yes? Is this the right thing? Is this the wrong thing? Because
decision.
No one likes criticism. Let's be honest. Like, exactly. I'm very open-minded to criticism. No, I'm not. No one is. No one is. But once you start questioning yourself, and once you start actually holding yourself accountable and responsible, then you're open for criticism. Because you are not going to hear something you haven't told yourself first yet, Yeah. So those are my best two hacks to keep on going and not give up, because it's easy to give up.
That's really an amazing process that you have done so far. So
hopefully.
So
you did.
Yeah, actually, like as you have mentioned, you have worked, and then you felt like jobs didn't satisfy your potential.
Yeah.
Or financial, whether it is self-potential, financial, lifestyle, all this together made you become an entrepreneur.
Not only financial. There was something in me, and it was a point of arrogance, because I was young. Let me be honest with you. Okay. Because I thought I could do better. I thought I worth better than that. And I looked on the long term, again, because I'm an expat.
I don't think that's an arrogant thing.
You see,
live life
at that point, I didn't. I was still I didn't know much,
Yes.
you know.
But you
Like,
had that instinct.
I had that thing that
You
is
had
like,
that whisper
yeah, I
telling
could,
you.
I want to, I still have I had the energy back there. I want to learn more. I want to give more. But in a corporate, you know, you have to go up the ladder and you're limited to
Exactly.
what you can do. And you see the wrong sometimes. It's like, no, guys, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Then
Nobody
you have,
should hear you. Or
Because
exactly.
it's based
So,
on system.
Yes.
it's very systemized, but it's well systemized in a corporate system. You know, corporate works only like that. You know, no matter how horizontal they can get. So yeah, it was not only financial. It was like, I think I worth more than that. Like when you're an expat, you're like, okay, so I'm gonna work at a company, and look at all this country, all this nation, all these demands, all this these things that can be done with me. One thing I always motivated myself with, and that's actually very, very true, which was a financial thing, because honestly, I don't work for good feelings too. You know, I need money. I mean, we all need money, right?
Eventually, all of us.
Whenever I looked in Seoul City, and I see an apartment or a house that costs $20 to $30 million, I would say, if someone can actually afford that, it means that kind of business, there is a business, there's something that can be done in this ecosystem, which is South Korea, that can make that much money. And if someone can put 30 million for a house, means they have made 200 and 300 million for a house. That was my beginning. I was like, it means there is money here. And people made it. If they made it,
That means we can make it.
that means I can make it, we can make it. Because I haven't tried yet. It's like, let me try. If I make it, then, you know, I'm one of them. And along the way, it wasn't about the 20, 30 million anymore, you know, but still, if I can get that apartment, I will.
Eventually.
Of
Yeah.
course, yeah. You made it so far, but like, at least you know the roadmaps, how to make money, right?
Yeah. Oh, making money now is, you see, this is the beautiful part of it. This is why
Yeah.
I can switch businesses anytime, because I know
And
when I have
hustle.
money, I know how to make it. That I know how to make it. It's like I would never get to a point where I'm like, my back is against the wall right now. I don't know what to do.
You always got covered financially.
Yeah, you said things, and this is what I told you about reputation. This is what I told you about reputation. You have a good reputation, everyone wants a part of what you have. And you allocate 10, 20, 1 hour, 2 hour, 1 session, 20 sessions, blah, 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 this and that. And you keep yourself financially floating, and that doesn't consume much of your time, so you won't be able to focus on your main thing.
That's true. Like,
Just hustling, basically.
hustling.
Eventually.
On a more
Yeah.
professional level, you
I
know?
wanna,
Yeah.
yeah, that's one of the main questions I wanted to ask you. As entrepreneurs, people think like we own one job or one business. We are actually very dynamic, and we have multiple income streams.
Yep.
That's what makes wealth. So, how did you start and like do system for yourself that works for you?
It wasn't. The goal was never to actually set up a system for that. The system got together automatically.
Oh, yeah.
Things just got together. Like
Connected.
I can't. Yeah,
It connected
they
the
connected. It was like I was doing this and then that and then this and was focusing, and then let's say this company told that one was like, if you need this part exactly, why don't you call him? He might have something for you. And in the beginning, that consumed a lot of my time, because you had to actually keep proving that
Understanding.
I can do it. But at this point right now, and I haven't made it anywhere yet, by the way. It's still like the beginning of the road, and that's what I believe in. But right now I can easily sit down with a company, have a discussion with them, and utterly tell them, this is my offer, take it or I will leave, because I don't care.
That's very strong.
Yeah.
To just
That's a
have
big
to have that type of
Exactly.
communication in the meeting. Just take it or leave it.
Because at this point, you know the value of your experience.
Yes.
Like when I worked 6-7 years doing whatever I was doing, day and night, you know, not sleeping, it took a toll on my health and blah, blah. You cannot put a price on that. You cannot put a price on a consulting session with me. Again, not because I'm arrogant. When it comes to that certain field, you can't put a price on a consulting session with me. If you want to put a price on that, go put a price with a consultant that can actually give you a document with charts and pies and numbers that you can get on Statistica or whatever, right? But if you want to know what actually will happen if you dig in that field, I'll tell you, because I paid. I paid health, sleepless nights, money, social relations, 7 years of my life to know what's going to cost and know the shortcuts in that. So you start giving yourself values. Not in I don't know
true,
everything. I cannot actually jump in a financial conversation and tell you, let me give you advice. I shouldn't give financial advices to anyone.
Yeah,
Trust
I mean,
me.
everybody should figure it out.
Yeah,
by
like this is what I know how to do that. So start getting together, and like now people are like, oh, this company wants to meet you. I'm like, a couple of days ago they were like, oh, company wants to meet you for 1, 2, 3. I was like, me? I still get surprised sometimes. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. You get like,
oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then like
Okay,
after
let's
2
go.
minutes, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, let me put my suit on and go.
Yeah.
Things start like momentum starts building up, and this is it. This is entrepreneurship.
Yes.
That is it.
When you know that you are adding value, and that value, or you are solving a problem that actually nobody can solve, or it's, I feel like everyone in Korea here is a problem solver. Whatever country you come from, actually you can solve a problem. You can. Korea is a big country, as relatively small, but has a lot of big market. But they need people like us to build a bridge between our culture, our language, all these things, all these layers. We are the ones who have lived in both worlds. So we
100%.
Yeah.
So we
100%.
can. It's like a
That's
core.
on its own is a big value. So
Yeah.
I learned that this is my value. When I was working at jobs, when you worked at jobs, same with Najah, all of us, we have represented big part of our culture because was our roles in our jobs. That's why they hired us. And your background was an engineer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you use engineering in your work?
I use it. I use it a lot because when you're involved in startups and consulting and mentoring and this and that, you go through a lot of tech as well.
Yes.
But
Tech.
the engineering thing, why I switched to business for my MBA was that I wasn't going to be a good engineer at all. There are people better than me. There are people that would sit down and actually design something, or be good at solving equations and this and that. I was like, okay, that's cool, but it's kind of
What is
boring.
the business part of it?
Yeah,
You felt
like
you can cover.
so engineering basically was, for me, what I still actually use from engineering is the logical thinking.
Yes. So
That's
it's
it. Systematic logical thinking, like 1 + 1 = 2. Always, that's how I begin with every 1 + 1 = 2, and let's develop that.
Yeah.
But and a lot of people ask this question. It's like, oh, you're an engineer. Why are you doing something else? I'm like, why not? I mean,
Why not?
why
Of
not?
course. So everybody
Why
like
not?
have their
If-
own.
If I give you a list of the jobs I've done, you'll be like,
Wow, that's a lot.
Translation.
Nothing has to
Nothing
be
related. Yeah.
with engineering, translation, interpretation, business consulting. What else? I've been guests, trade, education. Everything, everything. Health and care. Oh God, yeah, health and care. That was.
I mean, like most of
Health and
us,
care, yeah.
most of
Yeah,
us,
I've done that.
whoever like
Maybe
in
you
Korea.
want to touch more on that? The health and care.
Health and care actually was a very good industry I got involved in because I learned a lot. I learned. When you work in the health and care system, you work with people that teach you stuff, that teach you that you're healthy and you should be thankful, that teach you that you shouldn't be complaining today about, I don't know, the color of your hair today just because. No. Some people don't have the luxury of waking up, standing up, opening their eyes, feeding themselves by themselves, helping them. You see, once it humbles you.
Yeah.
It puts you
Exactly.
back in place.
True.
You're like, oh, thank God. I'm this healthy. I should just take that and just go forward. So
Yeah, I mean-
that was a learning.
And actually, the
learning.
good thing about it, like because here we are in Korea, so it's like basically because we interpreter, we translate, so it gives us like more about the health industry things that you
100%.
never learned in your entire life.
True.
Yeah, I wouldn't enter who would want me in my country or in another country, for example, to be in healthcare? There are professionals.
There are
for
professionals in that.
But for
Yeah.
us,
For
just
us,
as
we
a
can-
language,
for
just
the
as a language,
That's the key.
Yeah, the key.
which give you like
100%.
they depend
Wow.
on you because like the patient, they believe in you, the doctor believe in you, and you will be like the
The
core.
mediate.
Yeah,
The
and
core
you're
of-
actually facilitating a very delicate
Yes.
communication,
Yeah.
and we all know now language is something actually very important. Our asset was our language in this place, which I never thought when I came from Lebanon that me speaking Arabic, French, and English was a thing. Until I got there and they were like, oh, you speak all these? I'm like, yeah, you don't? Because it was like built in a certain point.
as a system.
And when you go for healthcare industry, and this, it's very important about culture as well. There's a culture of dealing. There's a culture of healthcare system. It doesn't match with the culture of some people. You can't just come look someone in the eye and be like, hey, 1 + 1 = 2. In the healthcare system, you can't because you're telling them the bad news, not the doctor. You're the one, as you said
Wow,
it.
as a
Like,
consultant.
so you have to be like, you have to take a different approach
Yeah.
from their approach and give them
Yeah.
what they want to hear while delivering the information. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, healthcare industry was a huge learning curve. Language was a big and still a big asset.
Yeah.
We got our value from language. Let's start
Language,
with
I
that.
would say language and culture because actually patients, when they come to Korea, they feel comfortable to talk to a
That's not only language and culture. Here's
Yeah.
what it is.
humanity.
Value.
Value, exactly.
Because you know, a lot of people in some industries, they do their job with zero value. The job,
That's true.
they need people like, we get calls because we get the job done. They need it done at 80%. We do 370%.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because we have value. Because we
Value,
did not
very
learn how
important.
to do things in a mediocre way.
Yeah.
Mediocre doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do it in a perfect way. We seek perfection in what we do. This is why we get calls.
Yes.
If you're mediocre, a lot of people have advantages on you.
Yeah.
Done. So I think our values are,
Exactly.
or what we value at least, got us
That's
where we are.
actually value stays with you all your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you maintain that, it's not easy, but if you maintain that, you will gain.
Becomes a habit, actually.
Yes.
It becomes a habit, and from habit,
Yeah,
Lifestyle.
I told someone once, I was like, I didn't know I had that much values. I swear to God, I didn't.
Yeah.
Like in some situations, I'm the easy way is to do something, and I'm like, no, I can't do that really. Like,
Doesn't sit with
no. As you said, doesn't sit. It's like probably if I do that, I'm not gonna sleep at night. So let me just work 9 extra hours just to make sure I can get good sleep. So
Yeah, okay, touching on that actually, did you feel like when you do entrepreneurship, do you have like work-life balance? Are you getting there? Or you are learning more about yourself as you're going? Because it's a learning curve, one day up and one day down, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I read a lot of self-help books. I don't necessarily read those books. I watch other podcasts and I listen to stories of people who have done like they inspire me to reach that level of productivity and like one would say success. But I have learned like through their life when they started even building their own families, they had to take care of you are a caregiver now, like you have to take care of the next generation. So from now, if we started like learning how to take care of ourselves and our needs and start like basic things, eat well, sleep well, these are really
Well,
like, meditate,
sometime-
therapy, things like that. Like for example, today I found myself writing every single day that I'm actually gonna wake up at 5 a.m. Wait a minute, okay?
Been on my
Okay.
calendar for like 9 years now.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, I wrote that. It's
Okay.
been like 1 month. I'm trying, and finally, when you set your mind to something and you repeat it every single day, I'm gonna wake up at 5 a.m. Actually, I realized that the problem with me was not the waking up, the sleeping at night.
Oh wow!
Like I
mean,
cut everything and I just went straight, slept.
Telling yourself something is actually very important because it works. I don't wake up at 5. I never intended. Like my maximum was 6 a.m. because I really want to catch the day. It doesn't work all the time. But once you actually tell yourself 5 to 6 times tomorrow, I'm waking up at 6, at 6, at 6, at 6. When your alarm goes off, you don't put it in your dream and you start dancing to it in the dream to ignore the alarm, right? You know you're waking up at
That's
6.
true.
It
Yeah.
works. When
It
you
helps.
tell yourself, I need to wake up by 6,
eventually
you
you
will
will
wake
gonna
up.
wake up without even alarm.
Yeah, but
That's
even
true.
before it.
That's
it's
true.
a mindset.
Even before it.
It's
That's
a
true.
mindset.
That's true.
I realized that.
Back to your question, actually, I've been told once by Najah, by the way, and we were talking one day, and because, by the way, we know each other, so
Yeah, all of us we know each other.
by the
All
way,
great
Yeah.
friends,
she told me that you have a duty to yourself when it comes to your health. You know, because you're asking about work-life balance. It doesn't exist, at least for me. And a disclaimer: I'm telling you what worked for me.
Yeah.
For
And
other
when
people,
everyone
It might
has
not
their
Might
work.
be-
Whatever works with
You know,
you,
I
it
never-
doesn't
We're
work without
sitting
somebody
here
Yeah.
else.
having discussions to learn from each other.
Exactly. I
What
tried to
works for you,
seek
yeah.
the work-life balance. It doesn't fit with me.
Mm.
It got to a point where my work is my life, and people are like, "Oh my God, that's sad." I'm like, no. That's sad for you because you don't like your work.
Yes.
You see, it's awesome for me because I avoid reading self-help books and looking at motivational speeches and all this and all that, because everyone is telling you what worked for them. So I don't want in my head to normalize what worked for, let's say for Najah or Hanan, and be like, that is the right way to do it, because I'm going to be unfair to myself. So I set up my normal. In a way that I'm comfortable with what I'm doing without my work life. My work-life balance, if you give me 10 to 12 p.m. where I go to my gym, I'm done. During the day, I can just get in my car and go anywhere, sit down in a cafe for 1-2 hours, do what I do, and then come back to my office. And I can pull an all-nighter. I can be listening to, as long as I'm listening to music I like, I'm doing something that I'm like, when I'm awake doing this, they're sleeping. This is why my deal goes in and they're late for theirs. Like I'm late for some stuff too, you know? But you learn how to set things up for yourself. It's like cooking your own meal, you know?
Yeah, I mean, what works with you doesn't work with somebody else.
With your health?
Well, that did not work well until I got to realize that.
And realization
It
time.
had to hurt first.
Yes.
It had to hurt. It had to involve tears. It had to involve self-pity to be like, okay, I've done this to myself. Now I need to, I would never take it easy. You would never hear me saying I'm taking it easy, but to fix some things, because, you know, we do grow old. When I was 24, I could have, I've done a lot of things at night, staying up, this and that. Now I'm not 24 anymore. So I'm like, okay, if I am to keep doing this, I am to take care of my health.
Yeah.
Most important thing, mental and physical,
Yes.
both.
We need to age in reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's time.
it's time.
For me, I started really entrepreneurship for me personally have developed my personality more than anything. Like I learned my self-value. I had a lot of self-awareness, reflection, and what is my role in life, as big as that. But that's the thing with when you are an entrepreneur and you know that your value is in entrepreneurship, you learn that, oh, I need to actually learn also from others. So you connect more with people.
Yeah.
I was not as much as connecting as I am now.
You know, entrepreneurship is like shopping in the supermarket. Every day you wake up, you're in a startup.
Actually, the thing is, it needs to be, I wouldn't say it needs to be involved, but eventually you need to have some kind of understanding about what the type of business that you will deal, what type of people as a personality you will gonna deal. First, you might be like so great at the beginning, but you don't know the core at the end, because unless it has to have involved with specific, I would say maybe kind of business model. Otherwise, if it's just kind of like random opportunity, it's not gonna end well.
True. I mean, you need to have a system in place somehow. But don't sit down and try to make it perfect, because it will always change on the way. Things change. But as you said, if you just be like, okay, let me go. Let me get on to get on a plane, you need a ticket.
Eventually,
And the ticket has a destination on it.
Has a system.
You can't just be like, hi, I'm getting on a plane going somewhere. No. You don't get on a taxi and be like, hey, go.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a Hollywood movie, and it was like, go. It's like, where? Which cab driver is going to take you somewhere without telling him where?
Yeah.
You know? You need a destination.
That's true.
You need a destination. The road there, God knows, but the destination.
That's one thing I learned, and I heard somewhere that people who are trying to reach their highest self potential while also making their income, because 70% of our life as an adult is work.
Yeah.
70%.
Yeah.
Really. And we sit for long hours doing something for ourselves and for the society and making a living out of that. So as an entrepreneur, I heard you need to know the why and what I am doing, but the how is going to come along.
Basically, that actually works. It's scary when you said 70% we work.
Yeah.
You see, when you put it that way, it's scary, because, when you take the subway in Seoul City, how many minutes do you take from your home to your workplace?
Depends on the...
Let's say here, to Google.
40 minutes?
40 minutes.
40 minutes.
If you calculate that on a span of 40 years, you lost at least like half a year to a year of your life in the subway. Yeah. You see? So that's kind of scary calculation right here.
Wow.
So, and this is why I told you, like...
productive in the subway.
That's the thing. Like, don't consider, like... When someone who's like, oh, yeah, no, because I know exactly how it's going to be. Like, adults spend 70% of their adult life working. They were like, no, you don't have to go pursue happiness. It's like, and? That's pursuing happiness right here, doing what you like. Like, this is not
Yes.
work for you. Coming here
This
is not work for you.
Even if
You know
it
what I
gets
mean?
hard,
Yeah, it's
I
like,
know
oh yeah,
why I'm doing it.
100%. It's like, oh yeah, that didn't
For
work. Okay,
understanding
yeah.
the
It
why.
starts with why. That's
Why am I
what is-
doing this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why this is happening? Is
Yeah.
it something it's gonna
Yeah.
happen
That's a
in the
wake-up call in the way.
100%. The how, as you said, it comes along
It
the way.
comes along.
The how
And
it
you're
comes
gonna
along
fight
the
for
way.
the how, by the way. You will fight a lot.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have a lot of trial and error about the how.
Yes.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
how.
yeah yeah
By the
You
way,
know?
we are shooting this episode the second time.
For the second time, this is how we learned the how.
Yes.
yeah see
And I learned a big part of your personality. It came when the first time we had the podcast, it was difficult because we are new to this.
Yeah.
We seem professional.
it's
and comfortable.
exclusive, by the way.
Yes,
So-
this is an exclusive information. But like Sam really dropped everything and made it here today. That's,
So really,
that's
thank
a
you
big
for
thing.
that.
Oh no, you don't have to thank me because you know this is important to me too. Like, I want to hear this.
Yes.
I want to see other guests. So
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, you will see
We're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
see
eventually.
you more
And
in
we
more
might
episodes,
invite you
yeah.
for the next session.
Ooh.
For sure.
Yeah.
And we wait for your surprises. You can tell us more.
Oh yeah, I can keep surprising you. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah, we are looking for that.
we keep
Looking forward.
surprising.
Okay, so we talked about all these things that I want to touch on things like a dream, and we talked about the why. It starts first with ourselves. We started all what we are doing with the why, how we are going to add value, and then we came to what we are going to do. I chose a podcast because it is rare. I wanted just to bring someone to our table through the camera, through their audio, with the comfort of while they're driving or going to the gym. People can ask themselves a lot of questions about how to or why we are doing this. So they're just invited to listen and learn, because sometimes when you are doing something and it's very difficult, you want to share it, especially when you see the value of it.
Yeah, to the audience that wants to hear it. You know, I've had
Yeah, that's what is.
Exactly.
I had a, you know, I don't usually offer free sessions at all, and my sessions are extremely tough.
Yeah.
And
I
someone,
have been to a couple of sessions.
someone
They were
actually,
great.
oh really?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
see-
actually, we
Added
understand.
great value to
I usually
and to
lose
learn.
myself in the middle of the session because I get involved. Like, I get emotional when I'm talking about that because, as I told you, pain hurts and it teaches you. So I'm like, I wish I don't have to see anyone else, but sometimes maybe people need to go through that pain. But anyway, I was once in a session with someone, and I told him like, you'll have a story to tell one day. Just do it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I told him like, it's all like the hardships. One day, are like right now, hardships that I was like, university, this and that didn't work. Those were hardships, and now it's a story to tell.
Yeah.
And their reaction was like, maybe no one cares about that story. And I was like, well, maybe they shouldn't listen to it then.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop myself from enjoying what I'm doing and making my own daily storytelling happening because someone doesn't care about it. Of course, they might not. It might not
That's the
ring a
key.
bell with them.
Actually,
You know?
we don't care who comes and listens. They will, like the universe conspires for people who are looking for this.
Yeah.
There
I mean-
are a lot of niches out there, but we are talking about self-potential, of how to reach your highest self-potential while doing something that you like and you love.
Yeah,
It's
keep
not
doing it.
easy.
Keep doing it,
But
yeah.
I would advise personally that a person learns from work. Go to a job, work, learn how to work. Maybe you will learn project management. You will learn that this is not.
You will gonna build a skill.
Yeah,
I-
you're gonna.
There is nothing called like, oh, I regret working in my
No.
life.
No,
Why?
no. That's
You will
something
gonna
I wish.
You will gonna
I've done.
if
Yeah.
some like if you were gonna have let's say a back time, you
Yeah.
eventually you will gonna mention to yourself, well, if I had a choice not to work, I will choose to work so that I can be where am I now.
Yeah.
Where I am right now.
I agree. And I've told myself that a lot of times because I spent very short time in corporate, and sometimes I'm like, I wish, I wish, but if time goes back, I would have done it in the same way. I would have quit again, you know?
Yeah.
But as you said, I wish I've learned things because what would have taken me an hour or two took me months of trial
Right.
and error, and it cost me a lot. And I was like, God, I wish I knew how to do that, you know, and then you're on YouTube and books and Google and PDFs and scholars and calling people. And, you know, not a lot of people want to pick up your phone sometimes. You know, like, oh, Samir is asking a question. You know, and there's some ego involved in that as well, you know. As you said something very true, like it will teach you a skill that you will need. There's no ultimate, I haven't learned anything. There's always a skill that you learn. There's always a skill that you master from
and
that.
what we're gonna give us like unique about ourselves, because what we work and make it on the way, it's about who as an art for the society.
And you start actually learning what you're good at.
Exactly.
Like, don't put me in planning. I learned that recently. I'm not planning. I'm executing. I'm doing strategy. But you bring a planning project, a scheduling project for me. I'll tell you, a lot of people are not getting the service done. So I'm not good at it, done. And this is how you figure out, what am I good at? What am I not good at? What I think I'm good at. Yeah, we talked about that lightly last time. What you think what you're
capable of doing.
What you're trying to convince yourself that you're good at. You know, it's like, oh, I'm good at blah, 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 blah. Come to think of it, you know that you're not good at that and you're good at something else. Go do that. Give your 300% there and bring someone to do their 100% or their 300% in this one. Delegate for the right people.
Actually, if I had money, like enough amount of money when I started my business, I would delegate. But
here's a question. How much is enough?
That's an interesting question.
Actually, to be honest with you, there were some offers that I have got to do project-based. It was the best when I chose a partner to do a project. Instead of like taking all the profit for myself, instead of delegating or hiring, I chose a partner. So it was 50-50.
Perfect. But you said if I had enough money. How much is enough? Shout out to one of my friends who put me 3 weeks on an island thinking of that. He asked me, he was like, how much is enough, Samir? And I was like, oh, I got no answer. Because I realized if someone gives me $1 million right now, I wouldn't know what to do with it. I'm not ready to have that much money, so I should stop chasing it.
Yes. The thing is, I learned that we are enjoying making money. The process.
That's
if you enjoy, that means it's gonna come.
It's gonna come
eventually.
But also, it's very important not to be afraid of big numbers. Have a number mindset.
Oh, no. Of course. I mean, I don't want to be misunderstood. If someone would like to give me $1 million at the moment, I'm open for taking it in any form. You know, I'll share. Finder's fee. You know, but as I told you.
Okay, he promised he's going to share. Everyone.
You know, it's.
I see the time and the date. Right
exactly.
now.
No, it's recorded. That's the problem. Yes. It's a verbal contract. So no, but yes, it starts with the money, and then you're like, okay, I do need money. We do need things. You know, it's like people tell you, like, you have to drop the value of things, and I admire people who can do that. I just can't. I still need to pay my bills.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
especially that you're doing
self-made.
Because I was in consulting sessions with global firms, and they're like, you have to forget about the money and live for the process. And I'm like, okay, that motivated me, but who's paying my rent?
Exactly.
You know, because we do consulting here in South Korea, and 90% of the projects don't take off because they're like, we actually have to make money to pay rent and food and insurance and then life, whatever happens with you. It's like, what do you mean forget about the money? No. You can't. You can't take that out.
I mean, money is not something that I would say
it's a value of your service.
It's value of your service, value of your life and your needs. But it's not something that I would say without it we cannot live it.
It's not something to seek.
But that was not professional, actually, that they said that.
Yeah. They were like, no, you have to forget about. Don't work for the money. Money will come. I'm like, no. Let me tell you something, brother.
That's a red flag.
And I'm telling you something. I tried that don't work for the money thing. It worked. I worked for free. It worked. It worked. A lot of people made money. They were like, oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm like, oh.
You give the consultation.
Yeah. And then they made the money, and I'm like,
oh. What is my cut? You need to learn how to
you need to say your value. So
everybody, but they give you the thank you.
No.
I'm like, sure. I'm gonna go to my landlord and be like, here's the thank you. Thank you for this month. You know.
That's the thing. We learn how to know our values, our service value. We don't charge much. We don't charge less. We charge exactly the value that we are giving, and we know our value.
Exactly. And that's I know we're almost running out of time on pricing,
Yeah.
because
We can talk until tomorrow, but
I'm
yeah,
incredibly
literally,
very
yes.
one of your guests mentioned that to me too. One of your future guests mentioned that to me too. He was like, Samhoun, you cannot keep working for free, man. He was like, put a price. And that was his advice. And
That's really
shout out to him
wow.
for that advice. And he was like, the number you're going to call out is going to be your value for them. Don't be cheap with yourself.
He
And
knows
it
your
worked.
value.
And it worked.
Yes.
And it worked.
That's the thing. Actually, at first you don't know.
No.
But ask someone, consult someone you trust in the field who is experts, who have done this before you.
Yeah.
So they actually have to walk, to climb, so that we can run.
Yeah.
And that's what we are offering right now.
100%.
We
100%.
are climbing a mountain and paving the way for people to come after us and run.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he actually climbed and walked the hardships, and with
then
one
he gave you-
advice, he gave you the value.
Yeah, yeah, he gave me-
And that helped. It's like a mentor.
You made me.
what-
You made me remember something about the richest man in Babylon. Why?
that's very
Why his book till now, even though it have been more than 5,000 years, and this is very strong. The life patterns that happen to all entrepreneur or any basic life, whoever started to be a grow up, is that when you start something, you need to ask first for an expert. And then from the expert, you will gonna see like what are the things that it's gonna happen as a pattern. I'm not sure like if last time or maybe when we had a communication a few weeks ago about the if you went to the bakery.
Yeah, we
Yes.
did talk about that.
Can you let us like in short like
Okay, so when
How
it comes
did
to
you-
experts and expertise, I'll make it very short because that was like a very complicated, like we got deep in that
Yeah.
like for like a second.
Yeah.
And another disclaimer, it's my thing. So
go ahead.
when you have to go for expert, it's so I always advise, and I actually want to go for experts because you can't know everything unless you're that self-centered and delusional,
Yeah,
right?
I
You don't
agree.
know everything ultimately.
Never.
So when you go for an expert in a certain field, and I'll tell you about one of my fields, which is, for example, trades, I would go to the source. I'll go to the source of the sources, the fund of funds, you know? I wouldn't go to, if let's say I'm dealing with, I sell microphones, I wouldn't go to a guy who sells microphones and be like, can you give me an advice? Because he's going to tell me what worked for him. Now
or
I'm
what
going to go
specific brands that he wanted to
100% for that specific client. If I want an
Or
advice,
he
I
will
want.
maybe want just to sell.
You see, when it comes to business, you can't trust everyone with advice. Let me tell you that, because sometimes people deliberately give you the wrong advice.
Yeah.
Deliberately, while knowing what will happen with you, because not everyone is as good as you, good-hearted as you. See, so I would go take advices from a lot of people, keep note of those, but then I would go to the head. I would go to the guy that sells these 25 microphone sellers in the market, all their mics, because that guy right there, he knows exactly what everyone is doing, and he will tell
That's
me,
very
hey,
strong.
listen, don't do that. That's not you. If he's an expert and if he's actually up for mentoring and consulting, he'll be like, hey, listen, because his ultimate job as an expert and as a consultant, you're not seeking just an opinion in a cafe, is to basically branch out his value, his money, his distribution. He wouldn't advise me to do anything what the other 25 are doing. And those are the wise men of the market. He'll be like, hey, listen, you can do this, but no one has ever done that. And you seem like you're the guy who
Yes,
can
exactly.
actually get this
He found
done.
you a problem.
He found me a problem and he knows I can do the
solves it.
solution, and he's going to sell me the solution so I can sell it to them. And that's a foxy expert, but I go to these experts, because you want to compete with people in what they're doing.
That's
You combine
that's
what
gonna
he
be-
told you with what they told you, and you're like, and obviously you're mature enough to be able to make your conclusions
and decision as well.
and decision. Don't seek an expert and be like, he told me. He's like, yeah, and you're smart enough to believe.
And then where is your way?
Exactly. So you
Yeah,
combine them.
I wouldn't worry, especially like the market has a lot of similar things, especially with technology. Even when we see new technologies or new apps, some apps has their own way of solving a problem, and the other but everyone has their own audience.
Yeah.
And one thing you have to be sure of, trust yourself that no one can repeat you because it's only you.
100%. 100%. That's
so
what we always say in beginning of our, for example, entrepreneurship programs.
Yes.
I ask everyone to share their ideas, and you see everyone just sitting there like,
It's
no,
like,
I don't want
no.
to share my idea. Someone will sit. No one's going to steal
No
your
one is
idea.
gonna steal your idea.
If you believed in
Even-
your idea, you would have done it already.
Even
It's
if they
fashion.
stole your idea, even if they
It's
still,
you.
it's
It's
you
you.
who will gonna prove it, and you will gonna.
Oh, I can
actually
steal
do
your
it.
idea for this podcast and go and do it tomorrow, but I won't be able to do it for 5 years because you know where this is going. I don't. What you put in this podcast,
I know. I have the why.
you have the why and you have the passion for
And
it.
And then
I
the how
have
it's
the what.
You're the
and the how,
original.
and the how is gonna
Yeah,
come.
yeah.
But I would love others to do it so that we can collaborate.
I mean, no, that's
But
great,
gonna
but
be me.
as
Yeah.
This is our show.
you see what I mean? Like what I'm saying is
No
like
one
I
can
can
copy
go
Hanan
do the
and
setting, I
Najah.
can go do the idea. I'm gonna talk about entrepreneurs. I can bore a whole audience if I keep talking about entrepreneurs because I'm so technical about it. You know, you add the value for this business. I can steal your idea, but I cannot steal that value. I don't have it. You know what I mean? It's you. You know where this is going. You know what's the next step. You know where season 2 is.
Yeah.
You already have like 10 seasons planned out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm like, let me do a podcast and keep doing it until, you know, I can't breathe anymore. That's not going to work. This is why even if someone
That's
takes
how-
your idea,
Yeah, that's
it's
how
about
it
execution.
Yes,
it
it's
just
about
like it doesn't
execution, the
work.
why, yeah.
When things come just purely, it will gonna, even though it's very hard at the beginning and it doesn't seem anything at the beginning, but at the end it will gonna show because it already has a root
100%.
about it.
100%.
Well, it was really so great having you, and I
It's
think
never
we,
enough time with you
yeah,
guys, to be
and then
honest.
I think we cover up most of the
Yeah,
things
yeah,
that
yeah.
the entrepreneurship would think of, and then from your experience as well. So
Reach out to Samer.
yeah, we
If
were
you have
gonna.
any
Anytime.
problems.
You can find me
And-
on Instagram.
Yes.
I upload coffee cups once a month.
Okay.
We're gonna get that solved because we are gonna be promoting this episode for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, hopefully
A lot of
we're
Yeah.
always up for helping communities. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Samer.
Thanks for you too, and again, shout out for both of you because
Thank you.
again, I know it's not easy to put a schedule for people
Yeah.
preparing, having the setting, the venue.
Yeah.
Even the questions, be delicate with what you should ask, what you should,
What you
I
should
know
ask.
I know like this is like a 40-50 minute podcast, but
yeah,
there's
yeah.
like 10 days of preparation ahead of each episode. So
Shout out
keep it going, keep it on, and yeah,
We will.
proud of you as much as you guys are proud of me too.
We're proud of you, proud of you, proud of me, all of us.
Thank you everyone for listening and watching this podcast. And we are thanking also that we are here in Google for Startup.
Yeah.
This wouldn't have been possible. So shout out to Google for Startup and their studio for creators like us.
Yeah.
And I hope that everyone will have a productive and nice life,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, can
All
do
of
that
it.
too.
Whoever
Life.
entrepreneurship.
I thought it was gonna be like, I hope everyone have a you know productive Friday, and I was like, life. I was like, okay, I was
Yeah.
focused on more Friday
Yes.
today, but
You know,
yeah.
like the fun,
Yeah.
be happy on it.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
productive.
yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much. Thank you very much, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.